He was a millionaire, lost in his own world, until a homeless girl bought his coffee. What happens next will change both their lives forever. One cup, one choice, and a journey neither of them saw coming. You won't believe how a simple act of kindness turns into a love story that could rewrite their destiny. Stay with me to see every breathtaking moment unfold. Thank you for listening to this heartfelt story. If it moved you, share it. Comments below and let someone know you are never alone. Cold morning wind moves through the quiet frontier town. Dust drifts across the wooden street, while the scent of roasted coffee floats from a small corner cafe. I step inside. Tailored coat, polished shoes, a man known in every boardroom, across 3 states, a millionaire businessman. My hand reaches for my wallet. Empty. A strange silence fills my chest. The young barista waits. People glance toward me, some curious, some amused. Embarrassment burns like desert sun. Then, a soft voice beside me. I will pay. I turn. A girl stands near the doorway. Worn jacket. Dust on her shoes. Eyes bright like morning light over open plains. A homeless girl. She places a few small coins on the counter. Her fingers slightly cold, yet steady. Everyone deserves a warm coffee. Shock moves through me. No negotiation. No expectation. Only kindness. I carry the cup to a small wooden table. Near the window, my voice finds courage. Please sit with me. She hesitates, then smiles with quiet grace. We sit together. Steam rises between us, like a gentle promise. Her name is Eliza. She speaks about long roads, empty nights, stars above the prairie, and a heart that refuses bitterness. Pain lives in her memories, yet kindness lives stronger. The town outside grows brighter. Horses pass. Wagon wheels creak across the street. Minutes turn into stories. Stories turn into laughter. Laughter turns into silence. The warm kind, where 2 souls begin to understand each other. For the first time in years, wealth feels small. This moment, this wooden table, this girl with brave eyes, feels larger than every company I own. My heart beats with strange certainty. One simple cup of coffee becomes a doorway into warmth, into hope, into something powerful enough to rewrite a man's life. Her smile rests quietly across the table, and in that fragile, beautiful moment, love begins to grow between us, like wildflowers across an endless frontier plain, soft, unexpected, unstoppable. While the morning sun climbs slowly over the town, and our story continues to unfold, within the gentle warmth of that first cup of coffee, that binds 2 very different lives together, in ways neither of us ever imagined, as the wind outside carries the promise of new paths, and our hearts begin to walk them side by side. Morning light grows warmer. Through the cafe window, golden rays touch Eliza's hair, turning every strand into quiet fire. She cups the coffee with both hands, as if warmth carries memories. I watch her carefully. Years of boardrooms, contracts, calculations, never prepare a man for the honesty inside her eyes. Outside, a horse passes slowly, hooves tapping against the wooden street. The frontier town breathes, calm, dusty, alive. You look surprised, she says softly. Her smile holds a gentle courage. I have spent years building railroads, mines, and companies, I answer. Yet a girl with only a few coins rescues me from embarrassment. She laughs quietly. The sound feels lighter than the morning wind. Kindness travels easier than money. Those words settle deep inside my chest. A memory rises. Long nights of ambition. Endless numbers. Rooms filled with powerful men, yet empty of warmth. Across the table, a girl with worn sleeves fills the room with something stronger than success. I slide the sugar jar toward her. Our fingers touch. A small moment, yet it sends a strange warmth through my pulse. She notices. A faint blush crossing her face. The silence between us grows rich, full of curiosity. You carry the look of a man searching for something, she says. Her words feel almost like truth spoken aloud. I lean back slightly, studying the brave calm in her posture. And you carry the strength of someone who has survived storms. Her eyes drift toward the window. Dust dances in sunlight. The road teaches patience, she whispers. A quiet sadness moves through her voice. Like distant thunder across open land, I feel an unexpected desire to understand every mile she walked, every hardship hidden behind that gentle smile. Outside, children run across the street, their laughter floating through the open door. The cafe grows warmer, alive with morning voices. Yet the world around us fades. Only this small wooden table remains. Only her presence. I lift my cup slowly. To the girl who saved a millionaire with a handful of coins. She lifts hers as well. A playful spark shining in her eyes. Our cups meet softly. That simple sound echoes deeper than any business deal I ever signed. And while the frontier town continues its busy morning, our conversation grows longer, warmer, more personal, as Eliza begins to share another piece of her journey, a journey that carries secrets, hard winters, unexpected kindness from strangers, and a turning point in her life that slowly begins to reveal itself. While I listen closer than I ever listened to anyone before, leaning forward across the table, feeling that this meeting, this fragile moment of connection, holds the quiet beginning of something far greater. Something that continues unfolding between us. With every word she speaks, and every heartbeat that follows inside that small cafe on the dusty frontier road, her fingers trace the rim of the cup, slowly, carefully, as if every movement carries a memory. I grew up near the northern plains, she says. Her voice flows soft, like wind moving across tall grass. A small wooden house, quiet river, and a father who believed kindness builds stronger homes than money. The cafe door opens. Cold air rushes inside, bringing the smell of horses and pine. Eliza glances toward the street. For a moment, a shadow of old hardship crosses her face. Then she breathes gently and continues. Winter arrived harder each year. Snow, hunger, long nights beside a weak fire. Her words paint pictures inside my mind, clearer than any landscape I have ever seen. I imagine the small house, the silent fields, a young girl learning strength before learning comfort. My father always shared what little we had, she says. Her eyes shine with quiet pride. Travelers, workers, lost souls on the frontier road. A warmth spreads through my chest. The same kindness, the same courage, lives inside the girl sitting across from me now. After he passed, the house felt empty. Her voice lowers. Outside, the wind pushes dust across the street, like wandering memories. So I began walking. Miles of open land, quiet towns, long rail lines stretching toward distant horizons. I listen without moving. Every word draws me deeper into her story. You walked alone across half the frontier? She nods gently. Sometimes alone, sometimes with strangers who needed a friend. The sunlight shifts across the table, touching the coin she placed earlier for my coffee. Those small coins suddenly feel heavier than gold. I lean forward slightly. Most people run from hardship. Her eyes meet mine. Some hearts learn to carry it instead. Silence settles again. Warm, thoughtful. The cafe grows louder. Yet the space around us feels strangely private. Then she studies my coat, my polished watch, the quiet signs of a wealthy life. You look like a man who owns half the world, she says softly. Her words hold curiosity, not judgment. I smile faintly. I spent years chasing success. Railroads, mines, cities rising from empty land. But today feels different. She tilts her head slightly. Different how? I glance toward the window, where sunlight spills across the frontier street. Then I look back at her. For the first time, wealth feels smaller than a moment. Her eyes soften. The air between us grows warmer. Something unspoken begins forming. Fragile, beautiful, unexpected. Eliza leans closer across the wooden table, her voice lowering almost to a whisper, as she prepares to share another chapter of the long road that shaped her life. A chapter filled with danger, with strangers whose kindness arrived at the exact moment hope seemed ready to fade. And as she begins describing that night beneath a wide prairie sky, my attention sharpens, every sense focused on her words. while outside the frontier town continues its busy rhythm, unaware that inside this quiet cafe, two lives slowly move closer together, step by step, story by story, heartbeat by heartbeat, as her next memory begins to unfold before me, revealing the moment that changed her journey forever and begins to pull me even deeper into the world she carries inside her heart. She lowers her voice, almost a whisper. That night, the prairie sky stretched endless above me. Her eyes drift toward the cafe window, as if the memory still lives out there. Beyond the dusty street, stars covered the darkness, thousands of them, like quiet lanterns watching the road. I picture her walking alone, boots touching cold earth, wind brushing across tall grass. My fire had almost faded, she continues. Her fingers tighten slightly around the cup. Hunger feels louder at night. The words settle heavy in the air. A chair scrapes somewhere behind us. Voices rise near the counter. Yet my attention remains locked on her. Then I heard footsteps. Her eyes meet mine. Sharp, clear, honest. Two men came from the darkness. A small tension moves through my chest. They look tired, hard, like men shaped by rough roads. The warmth of the cafe suddenly feels fragile. What happened next? I ask quietly. She breathes slowly, remembering. One of them noticed the fire, then noticed me. Her voice carries both strength and memory. He asked if I had food. The frontier outside the window seems quieter now, as if the entire town listens with me. I gave them my last piece of bread. Her lips curve into a faint smile. They looked surprised. I imagine the moment clearly. A lone girl beside a fading fire, sharing her final meal with strangers. They sat beside the fire, she says. For a long time none of us spoke. Wind moves softly against the cafe door. One of the men finally asked, why a young woman travels alone across empty land. She pauses, eyes reflecting distant starlight only she can see. I told him the road teaches the heart how to stay kind. Silence surrounds us again. Even the ticking clock behind the counter sounds louder. What did they do? I ask. Her smile grows slightly warmer. They gave me something in return. Curiosity rises inside me. Not money, she says. Something stranger. The sunlight shifts again across the table, touching her worn sleeve. One of them pulled a small silver compass from his pocket. My breath slows. He placed it in my hand. Her fingers open slowly, as if the compass still rests there. He said a traveler with kindness deserves a true direction. I feel the weight of those words. Outside, the wind carries dust across the frontier road. Inside, this quiet cafe becomes the center of a story far larger than either of us expected. Eliza leans forward slightly, her voice soft yet steady. And that compass guided me through storms, through lonely valleys, through towns where hope felt thin. Her eyes hold mine again, bright, mysterious. And somehow, that same compass guided my steps to this cafe, to this very table, to the moment when a man with great wealth stands surprised by a homeless girl buying his coffee. My heartbeat grows heavier with the strange beauty of it. She studies my face carefully now, as if reading something hidden behind my calm expression. While outside the frontier morning continues unfolding, horses moving through dust, sunlight climbing higher over wooden rooftops. And inside the cafe, our story grows deeper, stronger, as Eliza slowly reaches into the pocket of her worn coat, her fingers searching for something important she carries with her, something that once pointed her across endless roads, and now begins to reveal another direction, one that quietly draws both of our lives closer together at this small wooden table, where our conversation continues to unfold with growing warmth and quiet wonder. Her hand disappears into the pocket of her worn coat, slowly, carefully, as if touching something precious. The cafe grows quiet around us. Even the barista seems to pause, watching the gentle movement. Eliza places something small on the wooden table, a silver compass, old, scratched, yet beautiful. Morning sunlight touches the metal, and the tiny needle trembles softly. That night on the prairie, she says, her voice warm with memory, I thought the compass would guide my feet. Her finger lightly turns it, but it guided something deeper. I lean closer, studying the delicate instrument. How long have you carried it? I ask. 3 years. 3 long years. Across cold valleys, dusty towns, and endless frontier roads. The compass needle settles quietly, pointing north. She watches it for a moment. Direction keeps a traveler alive, she whispers. Outside the cafe window, a wagon rolls slowly past, its wooden wheels groaning across the street. The sound blends with the ticking clock behind the counter. You walked all those miles alone, I say. Eliza shakes her head gently. Kind hearts appear along every road. Her eyes meet mine again. Just like this morning, a strange warmth rises through my chest. For years, people approached me for power, for wealth, for opportunity. Yet this girl, with worn sleeves and brave eyes, sits across from me with nothing but honesty. The difference feels enormous. I slide the compass slightly back toward her. You must keep it safe. She smiles softly. The compass always finds its way home. Those words settle between us. I glance at the needle again, then back at her. Maybe it leads people together too. Her expression changes, curiosity glowing in her eyes. Outside, the town grows busier. Boots cross the wooden sidewalk. Horses snort in the cold air. Voices rise from nearby shops. But the small table near the window feels removed from the world. A quiet island of warmth. Eliza lifts the compass again, holding it gently between her palms. For 3 years the needle pointed me forward, she says. Her voice lowers, almost thoughtful. Today it feels different. How? I ask. She places the compass flat on the table again. The needle trembles slightly, then slowly turns. My eyes follow the tiny movement. The needle settles, pointing directly toward me. A soft laugh escapes her. Perhaps the road has decided something. My heartbeat grows strangely heavier. Decided what? She studies my face carefully, as if searching for the right words. Sometimes destiny hides inside ordinary mornings. Her voice carries a quiet certainty. The warmth of the coffee, the golden sunlight, the simple wooden cafe. Everything suddenly feels like the beginning of a much larger journey. Eliza leans forward slightly, her eyes bright with curiosity and gentle courage. And in that quiet moment she begins asking about my life beyond the polished coat and wealthy reputation. About the railroads I built, the towns shaped by my companies, the long lonely years spent chasing success across the frontier. While I begin sharing pieces of my past I rarely speak about, stories of ambition, of risks taken on wild land, of the strange emptiness that often followed victory. And as our conversation grows deeper, the compass rests quietly between our cups, its silver surface glowing in the rising morning light, as if patiently waiting, ready to guide the next unexpected step of a story that continues unfolding between us inside the small cafe where two very different lives slowly begin to move toward a shared direction that neither of us fully understands yet, but both of us begin to feel with growing warmth and wonder. I rest my hands around the warm cup, feeling the heat travel slowly through my fingers. For years I chased land and rail lines, I tell her. Every mile of track felt like victory. Eliza listens carefully, her chin resting lightly on her hand. But victory grows quiet at night, I continue. Empty hotel rooms, long telegrams, cities that celebrate success yet forget the man who built it. Her eyes soften with understanding. The compass remains between us, its silver surface catching the rising sun. Eliza slowly turns it again. Lonely roads exist in many forms, she says. Her words feel true. Outside, a train whistle echoes from the valley, long, deep, calling travelers toward distant places. The sound pulls a memory from my chest. My first railroad ran through a frozen pass, I explain. Hundreds of workers, months of storms. Yet the moment the train crossed the mountain, everyone celebrated except me. She tilts her head gently. Why? I watch the steam rising from the coffee. Because the journey felt finished. A quiet silence follows. Eliza studies the compass again, then glances toward the window. My journeys always felt unfinished, she says softly. Every road promised another horizon. Her voice carries hope, the kind born from struggle rather than comfort. The cafe door swings open again. Cold air enters. Along with a tall rancher brushing snow from his coat, life moves through the room. Voices, boots, laughter. Yet our small table remains wrapped in its own calm. Eliza reaches into her coat once more, pulling out a folded piece of paper. The edges look worn, creased from travel. I carry more than the compass, she says. Curiosity stirs inside me. She unfolds the paper carefully, revealing a hand-drawn map. Lines of rivers, small towns, long trails across the frontier. My father made this before he passed, she explains. Her finger traces one faded line across the page. He believed kindness spreads like rivers across land. The map stops near the town where we sit now. A small circle drawn in ink. I lean closer. What does the circle mean? Her smile grows thoughtful. He called it a place where two journeys might meet. The idea settles between us like a quiet promise. Outside, the train whistle fades into the distance. Inside, the compass needle trembles again, as if stirred by something unseen. Eliza studies the map, then glances back at me. The strange part, she says softly, appears right here. Her finger taps the circle again. A meeting place for two travelers who carry different roads yet share the same direction of heart. I feel the weight of those words. The compass rests beside the map, its needle still pointed toward my side of the table. Sunlight grows brighter across the cafe floor. Morning turns toward midday, and as Eliza begins explaining the last markings her father added to the map before giving it to her, my attention sharpens again, sensing that the lines drawn on that fragile paper may reveal another unexpected path. A path that stretches far beyond this quiet cafe, leading through valleys, across railroads, and toward a future neither of us expected to discover when a homeless girl placed a few small coins on a counter and bought coffee for a surprised millionaire, whose life now begins shifting in ways he never imagined while her finger slowly follows the final mysterious line across the map and starts describing where that road leads next. Her finger moves slowly along the faded line on the map, following the ink like a quiet traveler. This road crosses 3 valleys, she says softly. The paper trembles slightly in her hands. Then it reaches a place my father always spoke about. I lean closer, studying the thin markings. A small frontier settlement, she continues. A town built by people who believed kindness could build stronger walls than stone. The compass rests beside the map, its needle steady. What is the town called? I ask. Eliza looks up. Silver Creek. The name stirs something faint in my memory. A distant conversation. A rumor from years ago. A settlement plan near a river bend. Outside the cafe window, clouds drift slowly above the wooden rooftops. I once funded a survey near that river, I say quietly. Her eyes widen with surprise. Then you helped build the road toward it. The thought lingers between us. 2 very different journeys, quietly touching the same destination. Eliza studies the map again, her finger moving farther along the trail. My father believed travelers would one day gather there, she explains. People who carry heart stories. People who still choose kindness. Her voice carries gentle strength. I imagine the place. Cabins beside flowing water. Smoke rising from chimneys. A town shaped by resilience rather than wealth. The compass needle shifts again, turning slightly toward the map. Eliza notices it immediately. That has never happened before, she murmurs. The small metal needle trembles, as if sensing direction beyond north. Sunlight grows brighter across the table. Dust floats in the golden air of the cafe. You see, she says slowly, her eyes thoughtful. My father once told me something strange. I wait. He said the compass would behave differently when the right road appears. A quiet thrill moves through my chest. What kind of road? I ask. She studies the needle again. A road shared by 2 travelers. The cafe feels suddenly smaller, more intimate. The rancher near the door laughs loudly. Boots scrape the floor. Yet the sound feels far away. Eliza folds the map halfway, but leaves the path toward Silver Creek visible. I plan to leave town today, she says gently. Her words hang softly in the air. Travelers rarely stay long. I glance at the compass, then back at her. Perhaps some journeys ask for company. Her eyes hold mine, bright with curiosity. Outside, another wagon rolls past the window, carrying supplies toward the northern road, the same direction marked on her map. Eliza notices it too. Her expression grows thoughtful. Strange how roads begin to call louder once they appear. The compass needle trembles again, aligning itself with the path drawn toward Silver Creek. We both watch it quietly. A moment of silent understanding grows between us. The frontier town continues its busy rhythm, unaware that something meaningful begins forming at a small cafe table. Eliza lifts the compass carefully, holding it above the map. If this road truly waits ahead, she says softly, it might lead through mountains, through rivers, through towns neither of us have seen. Her voice carries both excitement and caution. I feel a rare sense of anticipation, the kind that once drove me to build railroads across wild land. But this time the journey feels different. Less about ambition, more about discovery. Eliza slowly traces the final stretch of the road on the map, toward the place marked Silver Creek. And as she begins describing the stories her father told about that hidden frontier town, I lean closer, listening with growing fascination, while the compass needle rests directly along that same path, as if quietly inviting both of us to follow the road together into a journey that begins unfolding far beyond this cafe table where two travelers continue sharing stories while the map slowly reveals another mystery waiting somewhere beyond the distant valleys, and the conversation between us grows deeper as we begin imagining what might be waiting at the end of that road, and what kind of life could grow if two strangers decide to follow that direction side by side across the wide frontier land. That stretches far beyond the town just outside the window where the next moment of our story begins to take shape, carrying supplies toward the northern road, the same direction marked on her map. Eliza notices it too. Her expression grows thoughtful. Strange how roads begin to call louder once they appear. The compass needle trembles again, aligning itself with the path drawn toward Silver Creek. We both watch it quietly. A moment of silent understanding grows between us. The frontier town continues its busy rhythm, unaware that something meaningful begins forming at a small cafe table. Eliza lifts the compass carefully, holding it above the map. If this road truly waits ahead, she says softly, it might lead through mountains, through rivers, through towns neither of us have seen. Her voice carries both excitement and caution. I feel a rare sense of anticipation, the kind that once drove me to build railroads across wild land. But this time the journey feels different. Less about ambition, more about discovery. Eliza slowly traces the final stretch of the road on the map, toward the place marked Silver Creek. And as she begins describing the stories her father told about that hidden frontier town, I lean closer, listening with growing fascination, while the compass needle rests directly along that same path, as if quietly inviting both of us to follow the road together into a journey that begins unfolding far beyond this cafe table where two travelers continue sharing stories while the map slowly reveals another mystery waiting somewhere beyond the distant valleys, and the conversation between us grows deeper as we begin imagining what might be waiting at the end of that road, and what kind of life could grow if two strangers decide to follow that direction side by side across the wide frontier land. That stretches far beyond the town just outside the window where the next moment of our story begins to take shape. Eliza keeps the map open, her finger resting on the narrow trail leading toward Silver Creek. The compass lies beside it, quiet, patient, its needle still pointing along that same thin line. Outside the window, the frontier town moves with slow purpose. A wagon loaded with timber creaks past, iron rims grinding softly against the dirt road. I glance from the wagon, back to the map. That road crosses land my company surveyed years ago, I say. Eliza lifts her eyes. You built railroads across half the frontier. Her voice carries curiosity rather than admiration. But some places never welcomed rail tracks. She nods slowly. My father believed Silver Creek was one of them. The idea settles in the space between us. A town protected by distance, by rivers, by the stubborn beauty of wild land. Eliza folds the corner of the map gently, revealing a small drawing near the river bend. A bridge. Old. Arched. Simple. My father sketched this during his last winter, she says softly. He said travelers would know they reached the right valley when they saw that bridge. Sunlight spreads wider across the cafe floor. Dust particles glow like tiny sparks. I imagine the bridge, standing quiet above cold running water, waiting for footsteps that carry purpose. The compass needle moves again. A small steady turn. Eliza watches it carefully. You feel it too, she says. The question arrives more as certainty. What? I ask. That strange pull toward the road. Her words echo something deep inside me. For years, I chased land and fortune. Yet this simple map, this worn compass, and this brave traveler across the table stir a different kind of ambition, a quieter one. Outside, a group of riders passes the cafe, their horses moving north along the open road. Eliza notices them immediately. The same direction, she murmurs. Her hand rests lightly over the compass. Every road whispers to someone. I lean back slightly, watching the determination growing in her eyes. You plan to follow it today, I say. She hesitates only a moment. Yes. The word carries calm courage. Silence lingers. The cafe clock ticks slowly on the wall. I look again at the road outside, then back at the path drawn across her map. Silver Creek lies 3 days from here, I say. Her eyes brighten with surprise. You know the distance? I studied those lands once. The idea forms quietly in my mind. Eliza folds the map again, though her fingers pause near the bridge drawing. My father believes something special waited there, she says. Not gold, not wealth, something stronger. The compass needle trembles again, still fixed along the road toward the northern valleys. Eliza slips the map back into her coat, yet leaves the compass resting on the table. Her gaze moves between the compass and the door of the cafe where the northern road waits beyond. Then she looks back at me, studying my expression carefully, as if measuring a decision forming behind my quiet thoughts. While outside the riders continue toward the distant hills, their figures slowly fading into the bright frontier morning. And inside the cafe the compass rests between us like a silent guide, waiting for the next choice either of us might make. As Eliza gently closes her fingers around it, her voice thoughtful and calm while she begins describing the first valley beyond the town, the river that cuts through pine forests, and the narrow trail that climbs toward the mountains leading to Silver Creek. And while she speaks, a strange excitement rises in my chest again, the same feeling I once felt when laying the first rail across wild land. Yet this time the journey ahead feels less about building empires, and more about discovering what waits at the end of a road that begins right outside the cafe door where our conversation continues to unfold, and the next step of our shared story slowly begins to take shape as the northern wind brushes against the window, and the compass needle remains steady, pointing toward the path neither of us has walked yet, but both of us now begin to imagine with growing curiosity and quiet hope. The sun begins its slow descent, painting the frontier sky in shades of gold and rose. Eliza and I walk side by side, along the narrow dirt road leading out of town. The compass rests securely in her hand, its needle unwavering along the path to Silver Creek. Dust rises softly beneath our boots, and the scent of pine drifts from the nearby hills. 3 days from now, she says, this valley will open wide, and we will know the place my father spoke of. I glance at her, the girl who once bought a Millionaire's coffee. With her last handful of coins, she carries strength in her eyes, gentleness in her smile, and courage in every step. We stop at the top of a hill, and look down at the river bending like silver through the valley below. The bridge her father drew appears in the distance, arched simply perfectly, a symbol of connection between journeys and hearts. Eliza kneels, placing the compass on the wooden railing. It led us here, she whispers, and perhaps it always knew the way. I place a hand lightly on hers. No map, no fortune, not even ambition, could have guided me to this. She smiles softly. I learned long ago, she says, that the world moves fast, but kindness moves further. A simple act, a cup of coffee, a moment of trust, can change lives more than any wealth ever could. The sky darkens gently, and the valley glows in the golden light. For the first time I feel that success is not counted in buildings, contracts or lands, But in hearts touched and souls connected, we continue down the valley road, the compass pointing ahead, our steps aligned, our lives entwined. The moral settles quietly in the air. True wealth is measured not by gold or power, but by generosity, understanding, and the courage to give without expectation. Every act of kindness creates ripples that touch hearts in ways we cannot foresee, and sometimes those ripples return, leading us exactly where we are meant to be. And as we walk into Silver Creek, side by side, the horizon wide before us, I understand life's greatest journeys begin with a single heartfelt gesture. Love, trust, and compassion remain the truest compass of all.